up, guys? All right, guys, so it was my first week. I just finished my first week on my own, and I can't really say it was my first week on my own. I can say that I was prepping for this for about 5 weeks. On morning shift, the nurse that was precepting me, I told her to stand by me, do not leave my side, because I do not know what I'm doing and I do not want to mess up anything. So, and I don't want to be hunting, I don't want to, do the hunt down thing, So she stood by me and she was there. If I needed her, she would step in. But then I told her, don't help me unless I ask. So the same with night shift. So I told her, okay, so I got the hang of everything and I knew what I was doing a little bit. So I said, is this only... Okay, go. Okay, so I told her, we'll go somewhere and sit down, and I will call you if I need you. So she did that, and that was a great help because I was able to grow and learn how to do things on my own and problem solve on my own instead of just running and always asking. And that's one thing with me. I do like asking when I need it, but first I want to try to solve it myself. I don't want to be the person that always needs somebody to tell them to do something or how to do something without me trying to figure it out on my own first. And then if I'm not successful, then I will ask someone. For instance, the other night I had a patient was just admitted during shift change, and the previous nurse was trying to get her settled in, and what was left, he got the medications going, but there was other outstanding medications, one-time medications, and then there was another drip that she needed to be on, but it couldn't be mixed with anything else, so we needed more IVs than what she had. So she already had a couple of medications Y-sided, and we needed 2 more IVs. So I asked one of the nurses to help. She went, she put in the IV, but then she couldn't get the other one. So we called in the PIC team because I said, this would have been a great experience for me to practice IVs, but this is not the time for me to be playing in people's veins because we need an IV like right now. So I called the PIC team. They came, the IV team. We call them SWAT nurses. They go around and help. I called them, and they came and put the IV in, and I ran the line. So I took care of her first because she was more critical. She had the potassium. It was really low, and we had to start getting those medications in her. What else? So yeah, so with her, after all that craziness, she had those IVs that were Y-sided. They began to backflow, and I'm like, okay. And it was a lot of blood in that IV line, both of them. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I'm trying to figure out what was happening. So I noticed that the medication that was Y-sided into it was done, and maintenance fluids on both of the IVs were going. And I'm like, okay, I can't figure out what to do because I want to disconnect them. I want to give her back her blood first. Give her back her blood and discontinue some of these lines. So I couldn't figure out, what to do. I didn't know what to do at that point. What am I doing? What to do? So I went and I asked one of the nurses that was on my hall. I'm like, okay, this is craziness right here. How do we fix this? Because I don't know what to do. And then she was like, okay, well, she was explaining to me how if the medication was finished and that line will it will backflow because it's done, we have to discontinue it. So we gave her back her blood, and we kept flushing that line, giving it back to her, and then we discontinued the IV, stopped the maintenance fluid because she didn't need it. And we started to hang the other medication. So things like that, I ask for help. I'm not playing with stuff, and I'm not waiting a long time to attack stuff. And that's another thing that I learned. You have to attack stuff early. Also chart what you did. Try to chart as much in real time. Do not save your charting for later. Don't be like, okay, I'm going to chart that later. do as much as you can in the moment, because later never comes, because either you forget about it or you just pile up so many things at the end that it becomes overwhelming. I'm trying to live my life stress-free. I don't want to be overwhelmed. I don't like being overwhelmed. I feel that it's not necessary, especially if I am able to take steps to combat that. So the night, she took up a lot of my time in the beginning of the shift. Good thing I came in an hour early and I looked up 2 patients that were new. My other 2 patients, I had them for 2 nights already, so I already knew what was going on with them. It was the same plan of care, but I had 2 new patients. So right now I'm taking on 4 patients. They wanted to give me 5. I said, listen, this is actually my first week on my own. I want to be comfortable in my routine. So give me about 2 weeks, and then I'll take on the 5th patient. And then they was trying to compare me to other people that was new. So, well, because this person took on 5 patients in her first. Well, I'm not that person, and I don't feel comfortable right now with 5 patients. So let me get my 4 patients, which is required of me, and we can talk about 5 patients maybe in 2 weeks. So I can handle 4 patients. I was handling 5 patients on my own when I was during the 5 weeks with my preceptor, but she was my backup, you understand, and she was helping me with certain things, and I just didn't feel comfortable. Don't overwhelm me too quickly. So I'm gonna try like next week 4 patients, but the week after that I think I'll be able to take on 5 patients and be comfortable. So after I got her situated, and it was like about 9 o'clock, I said, okay, I need to start passing on my medication to my other patients, because I have 2 patients that take up a lot of time to give them medications. Not the new one that I got, but the other 2. So I said, let me go ahead and give them their medication. So, and what I'm finding difficult is giving medications to people who have 9 and 10 o'clock medications. And then what's really time consuming is giving medications to all my patients who have 9 and 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock medication. So I usually group the 9 and 10s together, but if my patients are time consuming, I usually run over the time, and my goal is not to run over the time. And it's really difficult when you're in the patient's room and they're asking you to do this and that and that and the other, and I feel so bad to tell them, you know what, I can't do that right now, because I just don't like people telling me I can't do that right now. But now I see that I'm going to have to tell them that we're not doing that right now. After I finish doing what I need to do, I'm in a nice way, that then I'll come back and help you, or I'll have somebody come in and help you with that. But I'm finding it is impossible to do everything. And now I'm starting to feel bad, because when I was in tech and I was like in the room with a patient and like cleaning them up or something like that, I would ask them to help, and I know their med pass, and I understand that, but at the same time, it's like, this is your patient. You don't have to stay here with me, for the whole bath, but at least help me turn them, because I don't want to break my back. So, I don't feel bad asking for that, but, just other things that I had expectations of them that now that I see was not realistic, and I kind of feel bad about that now, because now I see the nursing side of it. But sometimes when a nurse was just downright lazy on the phone and going shopping, on the internet and all of that, I don't feel bad about that, but I just feel bad of not having that understanding of what they go through, and then having opinions about them that probably wasn't true. So the night overall went really good. After I put out all the fires, and that's what I feel like I'm doing. I feel like I'm putting out fires during my shift. After I made everybody situated, I look back and I stood back and I said, you know what, I killed that. I killed that. And I was really proud of myself. And what I do is I write down, I take a lot of notes and write down, what I could do better next time, because I'm always trying to develop myself and perfect, what I'm doing, and to perfect the standard of care that I'm giving to the patient, and to make my time more efficient and do things more effectively, So I'm always searching and looking for new and improved ways to do something, so that when I find what works, I can be able to stick with it. Like my routine when I first go in, because let me tell you, you can get so off track that you find that you didn't even assess your patient, because you're running here and there and everywhere and doing this and that, trying to stop things from happening and attend to this one and that one. So because the funk can hit the fan really quick, what I do when I first come in, right after I get report, I head into each patient's room and I do my assessment right off the bat. Because sometimes things happen and you don't get to see your patient for like 2 hours because you're stuck in a room, or you're stuck taking care of a critical condition or something like that your patient is having, and it's like you just left everybody, and I don't like that feeling. So when I have the time, I run in there and I do my assessment. And another thing, when I'm talking to my patient, when we're getting report, when I'm there, I'm doing the ceiling to the floor. And what I mean by that is, as we're giving report, I'm looking from the top all the way down to the bottom, to the foot of the bed. I'm looking to see what IVs are hanging, if they have oxygen, is the oxygen in their nose. I'm looking to see if they have a telebox on. I'm looking to see if that bed alarm is on. I'm looking at the patient themselves as I'm talking to them and explaining them who I am, and I look and I listen to their response. I look at their eyes. I look at how they're breathing, and all of that. I'm just staring them down from the ceiling to the floor, and that right there cuts out a lot of. I can start charting on these things that I'm seeing. And then when I go in, after I get my report, when I go in there, I'll just listen to their lungs and their heart, and I'm feeling and touching and feeling and all of that, and asking like specific questions. But that cuts down on a lot of time. I don't just sit there and just be on the computer, go drink some coffee or whatever. No, I am hitting the floor running, because anything can happen. And so I got a little routine going. So what I do need to perfect is my little report, my report sheet, because one of the nurses that I work with, she was my whole buddy, and she was so supportive, and she was just there. Do you need me? Do you need anything? What can I help you with? And she was like, looking at my report sheet, and she was like, you got too much going on. You're writing too much. This is too much information. And then I'm like, okay, so what do you do? And that's another thing. I always ask people, what do you do? Because I want to know so I can tweak my flow. What do you do? So she told me what she did and how she sets up her report sheet. And it's not even a report sheet. It's a printed piece of paper with all the information of the patient on it. And she said on this side, which is the whole side is completely blank, it's like in list mode. So it's the patient's name, their condition, test. I mean, everything is there that I'm actually writing down on a piece of paper. It's all listed there. So she said on this side, you just write down if their orientation, their IV site, their diet, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. That's all you need. And I'm looking, I'm like, wow, this will cut down on a lot of searching. When I go into their charts, because I come in an hour early because I need to be organized. And plus, I'm slow. I don't like to be rushed. I don't like rushing, and it takes me forever to do things. So I have a whole ritual. I come in and I have to use the bathroom, because I'm about almost a 40-minute drive. So I have to go to the bathroom, and then I have to get all my stuff, and I have to wipe down my station. And it's like a whole big thing, right? So, and then I go look up my patient. And my issue was looking up the patient, because it's so many things to click, and it's just taking me so much time looking up this one particular patient. So she showed me the easy way. and I'm going to try to implement that next time I go to work next week. So today I had to take a class, and I sat there for it was a 3-hour class. It's a part of our nurse residency program, and I got there a whole hour early because I didn't want to be late. Last time I was late, and I didn't want that happening again. But and it wasn't my fault. It was a car accident. So, but anyway, yes, guys, it went really, really well. You know, I was feeling a little of the pressure, you know, but I had to talk to myself. And that's another thing, because I'm not an anxious person. But when I'm starting to feel a bit overwhelmed, I talk to myself. I say, okay, calm down. You're one person. Do what you can do. If you need help, go ahead and ask for help. Utilize your resources, because that takes a lot of stress away. Also, when I have to make a decision on, for instance, maybe calling a doctor or whatever, I go check with someone first. Now, this is what I'm doing now until I am confident and I know for sure what to do. So I check with someone first. And I also check their medications, because some of the problems that I noticed my patient was having, they had like PRN medications for it. When I first started, I would get nervous and I would ask my preceptor, do we call a doctor? She was like, no, first we are going to see what we can do. We do our job first, and then we call them so they can do theirs. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good one. So she was like, okay, so we're going to look at their, first let's look at the orders and see what it says in the event of this particular situation. Let's see what they have consulted. If they have respiratory problems, let's call respiratory. If their blood pressure is high, let's look and see what the order says, what to do about it. And let's look at the medication list. What do they have PRN for blood pressure? But if they didn't come in with blood pressure problems, all of a sudden they're starting to have them and there's nothing on, then that's when we reach out. So I'm learning when to reach out, because I don't want to waste the doctor's time. I don't want them to think that I'm incompetent and I'm not looking and doing what I'm supposed to be doing on my end before I say, tag, you're it. So I learned that. And what else? I think that's about it. I mean, it's taken me forever to chart, because we chart up the wazoo. But I'm telling you guys, I stopped charting about 5:30 a.m. on my patients, and I always double check my charting, and then I found that there was one person that I didn't complete the task list, like the fall risk and the education and the chart check and all of that, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe I missed this. I did all the assessments and all that stuff, but I missed that. And I'm like, so it's so easy to miss things. So I try to chart in the room with them, but sometimes it's difficult and you can't. You just got to start doing what you have to do as a nurse and leave charting behind until later. And that's when it's like becomes so daunting, because it's like I got to chart all of this, not even chart on one patient, and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning and I have 5 patients, I have 4 patients, you know. So it becomes a bit much. But when I start feeling like a little overwhelmed, I say, okay, let's take a breather, let's go get some water or drink some tea and just relax for 5 seconds, and then let's get up on it again. What else, guys? That's about it. I mean, I'm telling you, you have to prepare your mind mentally for what you are going to do. Prepare yourself. If you're new and you're on the residency program, prepare yourself in the way where you tell yourself every day that this is my day on my own. Prepare to be on your own. I mean, I understand you got a preceptor, but don't be dependent on them like that. make it as if and act as if and perform as if you are on your own right there in that moment. And I'm telling you, when it's time for your preceptor to say bye-bye, you fly, you're on your own. You are not nervous. You're not freaking out because you got this, because you've been doing it already. So that's how you get rid of all of those anxiety issues and all of that. You need to be as stress-free and as calm as you can, because you want to enjoy what you do, and you don't want to look incompetent in front of your patient, because if you have a whole bunch of anxiety problems and you're freaking out, trust me, everyone can see it. If you're running back and forth looking like you going crazy, people can see it. So you have to, like I always say, I'm telling you, I create my own atmosphere. I don't let situations and people dictate my emotions. No. And I teach my children that too, because it's exhausting. So yeah, guys, you set your own atmosphere and you do what you need to do to get your work done. If you need to come in a whole hour early, come in an hour early, because you see people just strolling in at the time. Don't feel bad because you got to come in an hour early. Do what you need to do, because it's on you. At the end of the day, it's not on them. They have their routine. They know what they're doing. They have the experience, but you don't. So don't feel bad that you have to do the extra stuff. Do the extra stuff for now until you get the hang of it, and then you can leave stuff behind. I think that's it, guys. So right now I'm going to go to my other job while I have the time, because I do not want to make a second trip, because I'm telling you, everything is so far away from my house. And I'm going to complete some education there and do my competencies there. And then go home and do schoolwork, because I am starting my, I'm in the process of working on getting into a bachelor's degree program. And I got some prerequisites to do. I was thinking about going to Capella University because my job pays for it, but I don't think I want to pay all that money for a bachelor's degree, even though I'm going to pay for some of it. But and then the time they say you have, they was trying to explain to me about the time I have to pay for it, and plus the way my job is set up, they do pay for it, but you can only get so much within a year. And so that means I'm going to be coming out of pocket for a lot of it, and I don't want to do that, take away from my family again, because we just stopped that when I graduated from nursing school. So I don't want to do that again. So I don't know, guys. I have a decision to make. Y'all, what are y'all doing? I mean, how is Capella or any of those schools? It's just, I just don't want to pay so much money when I can get it for $5,000 at my state college. And I'm not in competition with anybody, so I don't care how long it takes, but I do want to get it over with. But then what's killing me is all these prerequisites. Like, I think I got to take like 2 math classes right now. I'm taking sociology and ancient world because I need humanities, and it's like, I don't know, guys. Well, I'm in a class now, I can't give it back, but I don't know going forward, what should I do? What is more beneficial for me? I don't know, because I'm going to go for my master's in education, because I love education. To be a nurse educator, that's my pathway. All right, guys, let me go. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Like, hit subscribe, comment, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.